Hi, I'm Eric Lee, and I'm dedicating this episode for those of you who are thinking about becoming an interior designer. I'll give you an overview of the different types of jobs relating to interior design and their approximate salaries. If you're thinking of becoming an interior designer or getting a job relating to the design industry, then this video will give you a breakdown of the different types of jobs available. I'll describe each type of job, what their functions are, and their typical salaries. Now, this salary information was based on what I was able to find from 2021 data found on PayScale and IIDA, which stands for International Interior Design Association. Although the name says international, they are really the US Association for Interior Designers. If you're in Canada, then the association is IDC, or Interior Designers of Canada. And if you're in the UK, then they have BIID, which is the British Institute of Interior Design. These associations are great places to start if you are wanting to learn about the industry and the profession. I'll put the links in this description below. The salaries for countries outside of USA will be different from what I'll show you here, but it gives you a good reference, especially between the different types of jobs in the industry. All right, let's get right into it. Starting with the entry position, which is interior decorator or stylist. An interior decorator or stylist is different from an interior design, but sometimes the general public gets confused with these terms because there are slight overlaps between the three different jobs. While an interior designer is mainly focused on the hard design, an interior decorator focuses mainly on the soft design like furniture, artwork, and accessories. So an interior decorator typically takes a room that is completed through an interior designer and then layers on the soft furnishings. They sometimes will also do wall paint colors and window treatments, which overlaps to what an interior designer does. Now, a stylist is very similar to an interior decorator, but they focus on the even more smaller details of the soft furnishings, like accessories and decor items. They are often brought in for a specific purpose, like a photo shoot or setting up a showroom, although some homeowners do use the services of a stylist. A lot of what the stylist does, many decorators also can provide. So you can see why these three jobs, with a bit of overlap on each side, could be confusing to the average public. In terms of salary, there's a wide spectrum starting from the lowest at $21,000 USD to about $57,000. This will depend on experience and education, of course. Between the three jobs, a stylist would be on the lower scale of the salary, then a decorator, and then a designer will typically make more between the three jobs. Okay, so now with the interior designer, let's talk about them. Again, this job typically focuses on the hard design, which could be things like interior finishes of the walls, tile, wall covering, whatever that is, the ceilings, the lighting design, the ceiling design, selecting the plumbing fixtures, the equipment and appliances and furniture, the electrical and low voltage outlets, designing the millwork and cabinets, the window treatments, the upholsteries, and other architectural components like glass, mirror, stairs, finishes, that kind of stuff. There are some designers that like to stay on the softer side of things like paint, furniture, and finishes, while others like to do more technical design for things like millwork, stairs, and doors. Some of these designers may be architects themselves which choose to do interior design, and they may call themselves interior architects, so you might hear that term being thrown around. You can see that there is an overlap on both ends. On the soft side, there will be an overlap with the decorator, as previously mentioned, and on the harder side, there's an overlap with architects. For salaries, there's a wide range depending if you're an interior, intermediate, or senior interior designer. The average salary for a junior designer, for instance, is between $40,000 to $50,000. For an intermediate designer, the average salary is between $55,000 to $65,000, and a senior designer is going to make an average of $75,000 to $80,000. Also, if you're trained as an architect, you typically make a bit more than what an interior designer will. Now let's look at some jobs which are not necessarily interior designer themselves, but support the interior designer. The first one is a Cad Drafter. This job is the one who prepares the drawings. Most designers will do their own drawings, but for larger projects and larger teams, there may be dedicated drafters who take care of the drawing production, while the interior designer takes care of the other aspects of the project like finishes, selection, design, and client management. Cad Drafter salaries typically range from $45,000 to $55,000 annually. Okay, now for the project manager. In a large interior design project, there may be a dedicated project manager, and their role is to keep the project moving. If there is construction aspect, then they will also manage the budget. A project manager is good at coordinating all stakeholders and is also very much a linear thinker, always looking at that next action item to get the project on time and on budget. They usually have good communication skills and have good knowledge of how design project moves and technical knowledge of construction. They have different skill sets than what a creative designer has, so these two roles complement each other very well. The average project manager salary is going to be around $85,000. The next role is a design manager or director. In a small design firm, the owner typically manages this role, but in a larger firm, there may be a dedicated design manager who manages and directs the design departments. They typically would have many years of experience as a designer themselves and have advanced knowledge of the design and construction of interior design projects. This is usually the next advancement for a senior designer. Their base salary could start at $60,000 and go up to $140,000. Sometimes they may have bonuses or profit sharing depending on the specific company that they're with. All right, the final role is the executive, which is also the owner, the partner, the CEO. The executive role is normally filled by the business owner, partner, or founder of the design firm. In very large design firms, there may be a hired CEO, especially if it's a public company. As the top person of the firm, the responsibilities include the overall vision and direction of the company, managing all departments and their managers, if there are any, leadership, and overall hiring and firing. The salaries vary greatly for this role, and research shows that a range as low as $80,000 to $150,000 is typical of this role. I suspect because this role itself is quite varied depending on what type of design firm. For instance, you may be the owner or operator of a single person design firm, or you may be the CEO of a large firm with multiple departments managing multiple interior design projects. So there you have it. I hope it gives you a good overview of the different types of jobs that are related to the interior design industry. So even if you're thinking you're not quite creative enough to want to be an interior designer, there are multiple jobs that support that industry if you like that industry. If you're just looking into this for yourself, then you should check out my other episode, which talks about the difference between a commercial interior design project and a residential one. I'll put the link in the description. You'll find that there are many big differences here, and some designers will choose one over the other. If you're enjoying this content, please consider subscribing to my channel and help me in my mission to bring business tips for designers to find success.